Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to do the round 12 preview for the 2026 NRL Fantasy season. The first big buy round leading up to Origin is on the horizon. So we'll have a look at the who's hot and who's not list for this week. Starting with the who's hot list, at number 1 you've got Tamare Martin. So cheap halfback, got the 7 jersey this week. If there was some more assurances around his long-term security, I think he'd be a must-have. But given that he might only have the 1 week before Metcalf is ready to come back in and take the 7 jersey back, I don't think he is a must-have. I'm not going to go with him this week just because I've got other areas I need to sort of cover. But yeah, I do like the trade. Even if it is a short-term one, you will make some money this week. And there might be a little bit more runway as well. You just never know with these things. At number 2, Toby Couchman. So, dual position, keeper scores. I think, if you need a middle this week, you could definitely look at targeting Toby Couchman, or obviously if you need an edge, he works there as well. Jack Bostock at number 3. So I did bring him in a couple of weeks ago in preparation for Origin. So particularly now with the news that Herbie Farnworth's out, I think he could provide a bit more value, given they might sort of try to use him a bit more on that right edge. At number 5, Oliver Pascoe. So it looks like he's got the big minute hooking role there at the Titans. So obviously covers this week. They do have a bye next week, so as long as you can cover for him then, I think he's got a fair bit of runway in your team. So I'd be bringing him in. Herbie Farnworth at number 5. So people late to the party on Herbie Farnworth being out. I'm sure by the time this video comes out tomorrow morning, that number will have reduced. And we'll continue to do so into Thursday night. So, reverse your trades. Herbie Farnworth out. Jackson Ford at number 6. I think, he's a season-long keeper. Even off the bench, he scored well last week. He's going to have a good run with Barnett being in Origin. They're going to need him to play some decent minutes, and we know he can output. So, Jackson Ford's a decent shout. Ewan Aitken at number 7. So playing on the edge, I haven't looked too closely at Ewan Aitken, to be honest. Hopefully I remembered to log in. Still got the break even. How good. So 600k, the dual position's nice, and particularly if you are looking for a centre, Herbie Farnworth not available. It's not the worst shout, actually. So, Ewan Aitken, good call. Aaron Clark at number 8, I do like as well. So the Warriors do have a really nice run of buys coming up. They have the buy in round 14, so you can't entirely load up on them because they're going to have a few out that week. But they will cover the next couple of weeks. They'll cover the second Origin period. And then I think they have a buy in round 18, so you may want to move a couple on then. But, Aaron Clark, another one who's probably going to have to stand up and fill in a bit of the gap from Mitch Barnett. I'm keen on Aaron Clark. Joe Tarpany at number 9. So, alongside the Warriors, the Raiders have a pretty good bye schedule, given they've just come off the bye. So I think they've got a clean run till round 18 as well. Joe Tarpany in the middle. He always seems to go well during Origin. I don't expect this year to be any different. So, Joe Tarpany, why not? Jerome Hughes at number 10. So if you wanted to pay up for a half, they've just found some form there at the Storm, albeit now the likes of Grant, Munster have gone off to Origin land. But hopefully Jerome Hughes can steer the team around. And, again, another one who seems to do pretty well through the Origin period. Latrell Seagwalt, so obviously getting the call up this week. He was probably going to anyway, whether Latrell was injured or not. Latrell Mitchell, that is, the two Latrells. Um, and yeah, he's definitely one that I'm strongly considering for this week. We're actually going to do a bit of live trading after this, so at the moment he's the front runner, but yeah, there might be some other options. Izzy Katoa at number 12. So the Dolphins do have some decent buy coverage. Um, don't know what his price and break even are like. 600k, break even 53. I mean, if I had to choose at the moment between him and Hughes, although I don't know Hughes' price either off the top of my head, if Hughes is around the same price, I'd go Hughes. On 60k is a decent amount. So I guess yeah, if budget sort of prevents Hughes, Katoa's probably a decent shout. Jacob Kiraz at number 13, so back from injury. I think the dual position's handy. Um, the coverage after this week isn't the best though. I think the Dogs have the bye around 15 and 18. Um, but in saying that, I do like him, and with Herbie Farnworth out, I do need a centre. So yeah, it could be an option. Ruben Garrick, what's he priced at these days? 543k, so definitely within reach. Um, Dual position's nice. Probably the only downside I would suggest is the fact that he hasn't got Hamole Olakwatu inside him this week. Got a young rookie who I've never heard of. Looks like he played a bit last week, maybe just to get him some NRL experience before they chuck him out there this week. Um, so yeah, I'm not convinced on Ruben Garrett, but he has got pedigree. Um, but I guess the other thing too, he doesn't kick goals anymore because Jamal Fogarty at number 15, back from injury, dominant playmaker. He has been a fantasy relevant guy in the past, and I mean at 730k, he probably still holds some relevance. um, but yeah, it has the round 15 buy, but outside of that, pretty good buy coverage from the Eagles. So maybe that's the appeal of Garrick too, is the overall buy coverage. But yeah, Fogarty, you got to pay up, but I guess you get what you pay for there. On the chopping block this week, Tanner Boyd at number 1, unfortunately out for the season with ACL. Um, so all the best with the recovery, legend, and we'll see you next year. Latrell wasn't going to play anyway. We've talked about the Rabbitohs, well, not the Rabbitohs run, more so the Trells run coming up with buys and Origin. He wasn't going to play too much anyway, so yep, you can move him on. Isaiah Yo, so obviously a lot of money to hold, and will miss 4 games out of the next 8, given that he plays Origin, but then they also have a bye in round 19. Um, yeah, I don't hate that as a trader. I'm going to hold Yo, just probably because I've got other trades that are more pressing. Um, but yeah, I can understand the logic there. James Tedesco at number 4. So um, the Roosters' run isn't the worst. I think, yeah, he's only going to miss the 3 Origin games. Um, so yeah, if you can hold, I would. Um, but it is a lot of money to hold, so I can understand that. Tolu Kola, so obviously playing Origin means that nice buy coverage that the Eagles have doesn't really benefit him. Probably not going to play enough over the next month or so he can go. Trey Mooney, so the Knights have a buy in round 12 and round 15. Um, so obviously he's one that can go. Simi Sasungi, still out injured. A lot of money as well, so I can see the logic in that. But if he can get back for round 15, he still offers that nice bit of buy coverage through that second Origin period. So I'd be inclined to hold, but if you need to sell, you need to sell. Xavier Willison. So I guess yeah, he's fine to go. He's not playing this week. Heel and Luke is an interesting one, given that he's playing this week. Excuse me, he hasn't made the Origin team. The Cowboys are playing the Dragons this week, which could be a bit of a fill up. Pretty sure they're playing the Dragons, aren't they? No, they're playing South. That's how good my memory is. Um, Still, a depleted Rabbitohs team could be a nice one. It does have the buy in 15 and 18, so you probably trade out then. But I guess the one argument, and this is sort of why I traded him a couple of weeks ago, is if you've got, say, Ryan Couchman and Artu Lasati, you just don't have room for Lukey. You only get the 13 on field this week. So, yeah, you probably got three great edges and you've got to get rid of one. And he's the one that's at the higher price point. So, makes sense. Josh Papali'i, so you're not playing this buy round, but still has a nice break even. I've got him in my squad. I'm not trading him this week. I've got other players I can trade. But yeah, I've definitely got him well down the list of trade outs because he has got a little bit of cash to make. Ben Tolte, yeah, on the buy this week, but the role sort of quickly diminished there at the Bronx, so he can go. Harry Grant, so obviously tough to hold all of the Origin players over the buys, which is probably why the next player is Nathan Cleary. Um, Out of those two, I would suggest trading Harry Grant. Just because you've got someone like Oliver Pascoe who's going to generate the money. Um, Obviously, the halves is a high scoring position, so I can understand the logic of trading Cleary. But yeah, he's probably just too valuable when he's playing, So um, I'd hold him. Yeah, so like I'd trade Yowie before him, Harry Grant before him, probably even Tedesco before him. Um, yeah, Alex Twelve. So haven't heard anything more about this injury that kept him out last week. I should have checked the casualty ward a bit closer this week. Um, but yeah, if he's not back next week, he might be on the chopping block. And then Brandon Smith's not playing this week. You've got Ollie Pascoe, who can play at hooker, so can let go of the cheese. So those are the most popular trade options going into this week. Um, as I said, I'm going to do a bit of live trading here because, yeah, I didn't realize the Raiders buys were so good until I was recording the Supercoach video for this week. Um, so there is a couple of options potentially. Um, so probably looking at a wing fullback. So if we have a look at my needs this week, we've got three trades. I need a middle, a centre now with Herbie Farnworth out, and a wing fullback. So, um, yeah, so in terms of the teams that I've been looking at, it's probably been the Warriors and the Raiders have been the most attractive. And it was the Warriors originally, but now I'm very big on the Raiders. Um, so, yeah, so having a look at maybe a Tamale or could potentially go Dane Laurie in the wing fullback spot, given that he's playing in the 6 jersey this week. I guess probably the issue is Ethan Strange should come back and play in between. So Tamale's probably got the job security. Um, so that is an option. I guess we could stack them up with one of the middles too. So a Joe Tarpany or a Corey Horsburgh, um, could be an option in the middle there. So let's have a look at if we do Trey Mooney out. And we'll go Corey Horsburgh. Yeah, his form the last three has been pretty good. 57 average. We like that. So doesn't cost us too much money. Still got that bit of bank, which is nice. So then, sorry, actually, I'll do the trade first because it messes up otherwise. Fayamani out. And we go to Male in. That gives us 56k. So if we did want to get the 13 this week, I'm not trading Herbie. I'm just going to hold. But the player I do have that's free to go is Tristan Hope, given that Appy Coruscant's finished his 3-game suspension. They're on the bye this week, but Appy will slot straight back in next week. He's made me 100k, so I can't be too upset. But this only gives us 426k for a centre, which doesn't really give us a great deal of options. So centres, let's just sort by price. And what was the magic number? I can't remember. 426. So we're looking at Val Holmes. No, I just binned him from my super coach team and don't want to borrow it. Jack Howarth against the Storm. Against the Bulldogs, sorry, playing for the Storm. Nick Manning, dual position. But these guys have the buy in round 15, so not particularly keen. Seb Chris does have the availability. But what's he averaging? 30, is it? This is the average column, yeah. So averaging 30 is not ideal. Let's scroll back down. Bronson Cherry, not that keen. Zach Labert's playing on the wing, but don't know how the job security is for him. Adam Pompey against the Dragons could have a spike game, but I don't think Chance or Roger are that far away, so I don't think the long-term security is there. I guess we're probably not going to get that at this price anyway. So there's not a lot of options there. So maybe what we'll do instead, I'll just get rid of Hope. We'll reverse this trade. And we'll go with, I can't spell his last name. Oh, it's because he's not a centre. Seagwalt, 267k, offers some nice value, I think. Obviously, won't play every week, but given Mitchell Latrell should play Origin, I think there's a few weeks of cash for him to make. So I'm okay with that. And then what that does is it does free up a bit of extra money. So 615k. So for a centre, which suddenly probably opens things up quite a bit. Can pretty much have anyone we want other than these guys, but I don't know if we actually wanted to have. Well, I guess Avril, if he was playing with the bye coverage, he could have been pretty handy. But yeah, Sasangi would have been nice, but couldn't afford him, plus injured. Ewan Aiken is very interesting. Ruben Garrick's there. My man Carraz. What else we got? Phil Sammy, Jackson Purdue's a bit of a pod, but his form of late hasn't been great. Leia Tower, the Warriors do have good bye coverage, and he could be a nice little point of difference. And then we're back to the guys we already looked at. So for me, it's probably between Leia Tower and Kiraz. And I guess because Kiraz is probably a season-long keeper, so it's only this one trade that it's going to cost me. And given that I don't have a lot of trades left, I'm going to have 10 after this. I'm thinking that we need to sort of target guys that we want to keep, particularly since I've already brought in a Siegwald. So I'm going to bring in Kiraz. But we still have 100k in the bank. So I think what I'm going to do, if I confirm that trade, and I should be able to reverse this one, is instead of Horsburgh, I'm going to treat myself to a bit of Aaron Clark. 694k. Yep, we can make it happen. So confirm the trades. Team this week. Let's just flip Herbie to Kiraz. So it gives us 13 this week, which is nice. I guess bringing Seagold in does create a little bit of an issue where we've got 5 players on the bye next week. But I'm thinking that I'm going to let Jaden Campbell go. Just with the move to 6, it doesn't really benefit his fantasy game because Harrison will cut into his kick meters and the like. So I'm probably happy to let Campbell go next week. And then I'll be honest, I haven't really thought too deeply into round 15, but I know like I don't have the edges because I've only got 2 edges in my squad and they're both out. Harrison will back up, which is fine. I've got Nico Hines, so I'll be right in the halves. Middles should be okay-ish, particularly if 12 plays. I think 12 is available. Around 15, I'll have to check that. Probably don't need to do all this in the video. That's the wrong one anyway. Yeah, so they do play round 15. So, if 12's available, I think we're all sort of set there. The back line I haven't worried too much about. But I think something's going to have to give. We are short on trades, but we're also low on ranks. So, got to be a bit aggressive to try and find our way up and play for a bit of luck, perhaps. So, yeah, those are the trades. In terms of the captaincy, probably no real surprises here. Captaincy on Ford. The VC was going to be on Herbie, but with him out, I'm thinking I'm going to give it to Pasco, which seems a bit wild. But yeah, the scores that he's been producing the last couple of weeks, he could be a decent captaincy shout if we need. So, yeah, that's the team going into round 12. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the NRL Fantasy content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. We're kicking off with the Supercoach Origin, Supercoach World Cup stuff as well if you're into that. But yeah, other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.